Welcome everybody to this presentation on creating a profitable LinkedIn strategy. And what we're going to be talking about today is some LinkedIn success secrets. That's the key. So I'm going to give you guys some inside information about how LinkedIn can help you create a profitable business. It's all built around building solid relationships for lasting success. And my big promise to you today is you're going to learn something new. I guarantee you. I mean, I learn something new every single day. You guys are going to learn some great stuff. And what it's really all about, it's about creating a strategy. You have to have a strategy if you're going to use LinkedIn. A lot of people dive in and they just say, okay, let me try this and let me see what it does. And then they get lost. And it's easy to get lost because there's so many nooks and crannies inside of LinkedIn. But what I want you to do is I want you to stay to the end. It's not a long seminar, and there is going to be no sales pitch. There is nothing to buy. This is just pure information. So you're going to want to stay to the end and get all the information and learn all the stuff that I'm going to teach you today. The other thing I want you to do is pay close attention. Do me a favor, turn off your cell phone, close your social media, because this is going to be fast, action-paced information. All right, you're going to get a lot of information in a very short period of time. So let me tell you a little bit about me and why I'm teaching this webinar today. The reason I'm doing this is because I've learned the hard way. I have been working in marketing for years, for over 35 years, as a matter of fact, and I've learned a lot of stuff. Now, I teach all over the country, and I speak to people all over the world. I have interviewed people in England, uh, in Australia, in tons of other places all over the world, and I also teach at universities like Aurora University, Waubonsie Community College. I've taught at Washington or Central Washington University via Skype. So I do a lot of teaching and I do a lot of learning. My claim to fame is I have an award-winning best-selling book called It's Not About You, It's About Bacon, Relationship Marketing in a Social Media World. Not only did it win the best social media book in 2014 from the Judge's Choice and the People's Choice, but it also has incredible reviews on Amazon. I have over 32, and it's more than that now, but over 32 five-star reviews. People love the book because it's a why-to book, and that's the difference. Is I'm not here to teach you this is how you log into LinkedIn and this is how you do this and that. That's not what today's about. It's the why, and the why is the most important component because you can always learn the how. Once you get the why, it becomes a lot clearer as to why you want to use this. Now, let me give you a little bit more of my background. I started my first business in 1997 in my dad's basement. I built a recording studio and I did bands, I did voiceovers for commercials and things of that nature. Then I went to work for a major corporation, AT&T, where I wired and set up their video studio. I learned how to do video, and I was, started out wiring, and then I went into shooting, and then I was an editor and ultimately a producer and produced some award-winning videos on some very high-tech equipment. This stuff doesn't exist anymore because you can literally take out your cell phone and do it. Then I opened up a commercial recording studio where I did all the audio cassettes for Avon Ladies, jingles for True Value Hardware, Tiger Toys, worked with some of the largest companies in the United States doing all kinds of audio for video for whatever was available at that time. This dates back to the 90s. Next, I went on to create this business, B2B Interactive Marketing, where I developed interactive CD-ROMs for a ton of different companies. The first one up there, Steam, was actually done for Sara Lee Corp. And CD-ROMs were video on the internet like YouTube and Vimeo and stuff like that. So these videos were recorded and put onto a CD-ROM, and they had to be compressed so that you could play them on a computer. Now, most computers don't have CD players anymore, and most content is served over the internet. But that background gave me a good, solid foundation of how to do it before we're doing what we're doing now. I've developed thousands of websites, everything from single pagers like the one for NPR there to full e-commerce websites. So I know about doing e-commerce and how to do shipping and how to do online marketing, Google Ads, and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm very versed in Google, in social media, in content creation, all of those things. The thing on the right is an award that I won in 2009. and that was about 6 years ago. And I won this award for a towing company. And it was building their website. Now, their website was originally built in Flash. And if you know what Flash is Flash's animation software where they had the title of the business and the phone number and all that stuff floating around in the top, and it was flying and all this other cool stuff. It looked really cool, but there was a problem. When do you need a tow? You need a tow when your car breaks down, right? And most people, and granted, this lady is talking on a flip phone. That's not a smartphone, but that was the only picture I could find. But smartphones, like iPhones especially, do not allow flash because it's very buggy. It eats up a lot of memory, and it also has vulnerabilities where it can get hacked. So when people pulled up his website before on a smartphone, and I was one of the first people in line to get the first iPhone. I've had every one. I have a 6 now. And so when people pulled up his website, when they Googled, where they were and they looked for his website, they would pull up his website and all of his contact information disappeared because it was floating around in the top and flash and wouldn't show. So what I did is I redesigned his website with a static banner, and right below that, what I put was need help now, and then the phone number. And when you tap the phone number, it would dial the company. And that's why it won the award. What's so important about that is understanding your audience, where they are, and how they want to be communicated to. That's why it won. And that's why we're talking today about reaching your audience and how to use LinkedIn to do that. So the other thing I want you to understand is I am a professional student. Yes, I teach at college level. I teach master's classes on social media, but I'm a professional student. I learn this stuff all day long so I can teach you. And I love this saying, when you teach, you learn twice. And that's true. I teach classes almost monthly, if not more. And when I teach these classes, it really helps me formulate my ideas so that I can give you guys great information that's organized well, that is simple to understand, and really gives you actionable tips that are going to help you grow yourself and grow your business. More importantly, I've been on LinkedIn since 2004. Now, LinkedIn was born in 2003, so it was a very early adopter. When this started out, I was one of the first 1,000 people, I think, that got in there. And I've been using it for years, so I really understand how it's evolved, the nooks and crannies, and all of the things that make LinkedIn such a powerful tool. So today we're going to be talking about 3 LinkedIn secrets. And that's it. And these are success secrets that are going to help you better utilize LinkedIn to grow your sphere of influence, to grow your business, and to make more money. That's ultimately the goal, right? So many people believe that LinkedIn is a waste of time because they go in there and they try things and they get nothing in return. And that's because they don't have a plan. They don't understand what they're doing. One of the things you have to realize is that people spend an average of 3 to 5 minutes a day on LinkedIn. They don't go in there like they do on Facebook or Twitter. They tend to go in, they snipe, they get their information, and they leave. If they're alerted by LinkedIn to go in because somebody's endorsed them or commented on something, then they may go in too. So the more you post, the more you engage with LinkedIn, the more you're going to be active on it. But people go in and they may post something and they get no response, and then they don't spend any time on it. A lot of people believe it's too complicated. It is. It's got lots of nooks and crannies. Like I said, you've got all these different tabs, and where do I go and how do I use it? And it keeps changing. Every time you log in, there's something new. Well, that's the nature of social media and online marketing, is all of these free sites, you don't pay for it. I mean, some of you do. Some of you may have an advanced account. You may have paid for a professional account inside of LinkedIn, but the majority of people don't. So they have the right to change anything at any time and not tell you. And so when you log in, all of a sudden something's different, and that happens every single day. But the biggest problem that most people have with social media, online marketing, and especially LinkedIn is they can't figure out how to message or how to measure the return on investment, their ROI. And that is an absolute problem, but there are ways that you can do that. You can measure it, and you can see definite income gains from working inside of LinkedIn. So what it's really all about is having a plan. What is the plan that you're trying to get across? How are you going to communicate with the right audience, your niche, your target? How do you do that? It's by creating a system, and the system has to be targeted and measured and all of the other things. You have to generate great content. You can go in and just post everything all day long, but if you're not generating content that your target audience wants, you're going to miss the mark. You have to become a traffic cop. You have to get people who are reading your content to get to the place where you start to convert them into potential sales. You can't just post things and expect things to happen. And ultimately, it all boils down to measurement. How do you measure the effectiveness of what's going on? And I'm going to show you guys some of that stuff, just how it works and how some other people are really killing it with LinkedIn. Now, one of the things I want to say is no matter what I tell you, your results may vary. Marketing is not advertising. Marketing is something that is a long-term deal. You are sending out content and trying to draw people in, and it can take 3 to 6 months sometimes to get people to react. What people do is they try to treat social media like advertising. They want to get in there. They want people to immediately respond to their stuff, and they think they're going to make a sale just because they're going in there. Wrong. It ain't going to happen. It's not the way it works. I'll explain it. It is a participation sport. You have to be active inside of social media in order for people to respond to what it is that you're posting. It takes time. But when done right, I've seen clients expand their reach by as much as 600%, grow their audience, their influence, the people that are paying attention to them. And I'll show you an example of that later. And I've also seen people increase their revenues by 50% in less than a year. It happens, and it can happen for you if you do the right stuff. It really depends on you, though. The results depend on your engagement. So, are you guys ready to get started? Are you ready to start learning some of these secrets? And I'm looking in the chat box and the questions, and I get a yes and amen. And okay, good. Let's rock this thing. Okay, let's go in and start learning the 3 secrets. All right. So secret number 1 is this. People are starving for entertainment, engagement, and great information online. The whole reason that people go to LinkedIn, they're looking for good information. They're looking for good articles. And I'll show you guys a sample of something that happened today. It blew me away. And it's happening more and more and more. They love when you provide them great information that's going to help them grow and promote themselves and their business. So that's the key. Now, let me tell you this little secret. And you may have heard this if you've heard me speak before. But the 2 most shared things on the internet, number 1 is kittens and number 2 is bacon. Okay, so in LinkedIn, who cares about kittens and bacon? The bottom line, who cares about kitten and bacon are the people who are into kittens and bacon. If that's what your audience wants, then that's what you have to feed them. And that's the key, is you've got to understand the information that your audience will react to and the ones that is going to get the most engagement from them. So maybe kittens and bacon is not going to work on LinkedIn, but it certainly works on Facebook and it works on Twitter. So you have to find the targeted message that your audience wants. Some of the common mistakes that people make is people go in and say, I only want to be my business. All right? That does not work. You are not a business. You are a person. The other thing that people do is they share only other people's comments or content. So what they're doing is they're finding a good article and they're posting it. And they're finding a good article and posting it. It's not wrong to do that, but it's better when you have your own unique concepts and ideas. People will respond. Now, nothing says you can't do your unique ideas and post that stuff and then interject other people's content to promote and build on that idea. But if all you're doing is posting other people's content, you're not going to get the same kind of responses. And I'll show you why a little later. And then the last one is the post and run strategy. It's not a strategy. You can't just post and then hope that you're going to get something out of that. You need to be a human being and interact with people. Why? Let me tell you truth number 1. Businesses do not do business with other businesses. Let me repeat that. Businesses do not do business with other businesses. Why is that? Because people do business with people. Social networking is all about relationships. And our job is to grow and nurture relationships we have started in our business world. And why advertising does not work so well is because trust has to be earned. It's something that you can't just walk into a bar, meet somebody, and say, "Hey, you look good. You want to get married?" That's the way a lot of people treat online marketing and social media. And I see this all the time. Their whole goal is to come in and sell something. And it happens to me almost daily where somebody says, "Hey, I'm sending you a LinkedIn request." Okay, cool. And a lot of them happen to be financial reps or other things. And they say, "Hey, oh, thanks for the connection. I'd love to get together and spend an hour of your time having a coffee with you so that I can tell you how great I am as a financial rep." Okay, what person in the world is going to, after a 1 hour coffee, give somebody control of their future and finances? Can you answer that question? How many people would do that? But people are being taught this is what you do. You go online, you friend people, and you ask them out for a coffee. And then you start this relationship thing. It's like, I already got somebody I've been working with for 15 years. I'm doing fine. And the last thing I want to do is pull the money away from them and give it to you because I don't know, like, and trust you yet. I don't even know who you are. And an hour coffee is not going to make me feel confident enough to give away tens or hundreds or millions of dollars to you to control. It depends on where you're at in your business, but you know, that's not going to happen. Just like people that cold call from New York offering, financial advice, you know. And here's the question: they're asking me to spend time on them. They're asking me to give up an hour of my time so I can listen to their commercial. That ain't going to happen. This also happens all the time. Is I get people that send me, requests to connect, and I connect, and then they send me the sales letter. "Hey, I've got the greatest thing since buttered bread, and all you need to do is watch my video, and I'm going to explain to you how I'm going to sell you, this great thing, and it's going to change your life." And it's like, really? Okay, so here's what I do. When they send me that, I say, "I will watch your video if you watch mine." And here's the video I send them. That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. Okay, it's not. You can't just get somebody to automatically buy something just from a connection. It takes time to get people to know, like, and trust you. And you're not going to sell anybody by using that. Here's another example. I love this one. I got this one yesterday. Here's a guy who sends me a connection request and immediately sends me, "Hey, I'm with a firm, and if you will sell my firm for me, we'll give you 15%. So he's trying to create an affiliate marketing thing. So I go look at his profile, and it's like, Dave Jones. That's a weird spelling of Jones. Experienced marketing professional with a track record, okay, working for a CPA firm. And I'm looking at that, and then all of a sudden, something popped out at me. Hey, Dave is also known as Lee Nigan, or whatever that's pronounced, experienced inside-outside sales leader. It's like, wait a minute, how can it be two people? And the bottom line is, it's probably some guy that says, "Hey, I can make you money on LinkedIn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post as you." But he's using the same picture for multiple people. All right? Talk about killing trust. That's not going to work. That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. So, the key thing that if you're going to create relationships with people online, what you have to do is give them something. All right? You got to provide them great information. You have to provide them fun articles. Give me a reason to contact you. Build that trust. All right? Have some original thoughts. It's your job to change my mind, and it's your job to make me trust you. That takes time. Okay, you can't just post and run. You've got to develop a relationship. It helps when you meet people face to face too, first, and then start doing the online stuff rather than just randomly looking for people that you think will be great contacts, because nobody's going to buy it. We're all inundated with sales messages. So let's get to secret number 2. Secret number 2 is it is all about relationships. In the picture, you see all these different people, but you see their pictures on a device, right? But there's still people behind there, and they're still human beings. You have to develop relationships if you want to draw people in to create sales. Now, here's a post that I did today, all right? It blew me away. I posted this thing called Follow Me. It was all about Facebook advertising. And I posted it at noon, and we're talking about 2. So we're talking about a 2-hour span. Within 2 hours, over 300 people like that. or saw it, 45 people liked it and 2 people commented. And since then, I did this a while ago, and I looked at it right before we started. It hit over 400 people in a very, very short period of time. Now, these are people that I don't know. I've never met any of these people, but they're liking that article. Now, by posting great content, I can go in and say, hey, let's connect. But I'm not going to go and immediately sell them. I'm going to say, hey, let's start a relationship. Thanks for liking my article, for checking it out. Let me know how I can help you. If you have any questions, let me be a resource, not let me sell you my stuff. By doing that, you're going to create the right stepping stone to creating those relationships. So you do have the opportunity to meet people that you don't know, but you got to provide them with excellent information in order for them to want to engage with you. And when I post these things, a lot of times people send me contact requests where I don't even have to contact them. They contact me and say, hey, let's connect up. Sounds like we got some great stuff. Okay, cool. That's the start of a great relationship. And then they see my name and they see my posts and they continue to, know, like, and trust me because I'm sending out great information all the time. And that's where I have the opportunity to connect up with them and maybe start a conversation. The common mistakes that people make inside of LinkedIn is this. They just go to the newsfeed. They look at that and they like it, but they're not digging deeper. They're not looking at posts. They're not looking at influencers. They're not looking at articles. They're not digging into tools like groups and looking around to see what else they could do using advanced search. Most people go into LinkedIn because they've been taught this just to look for new clients. And one of the biggest mistakes you can make is not communicating with past clients or current clients because those people have already bought from you. So what you need to do is at least start a focus on working with them first so that you can continue to communicate some great stuff with them. And then start looking for the new clients. Build on what you already have and then start growing your business. Truth number 2, people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. Okay? And in my book, It's Not About You, It's About Bacon, I go through the whole know, like, and trust. And you probably heard it before, but I really define it in a way that makes sense. The know portion is when you get to meet someone face to face, you shake their hand, you meet them at a networking event, or maybe it's just like I showed you, where you post something and they start to get to know you through the things that you're posting. The like portion happens through social media. This is where you start to communicate as a human being, that you start to build that relationship. And that relationship can be a simple message. It can be a webinar. It can be anything that you could possibly imagine. But like is the bridge to know and trust. And trust is where transactions happen. Nobody is going to buy from you if they don't trust you. And the biggest thing about trust is it's not a given. That's why going in and just connecting with somebody and posting, hey, I've got this great thing, buy from me, bypasses that like thing. And that's where a lot of people get burnt and turned off. You have to bridge the know and the trust by developing that relationship. Trust has to be earned. All right. And you've got to know who your target audience is and what they want. You have to teach them something. You have to provide them some real value. Ultimately, it's all about them. Remember the title. It's not about you. It's about bacon. It's really not about bacon. It's a brand. It's not about you. It's about them. It's about the message that you are trying to communicate to them to help them be successful. Creating trust is like stringing beads. You have to do one, you have to do another, you have to do another. It takes time to build trust. And you have to do a series of things to build that trust in order to get to the point where somebody is willing to take action. How many dates did you have to go on with your spouse in order for them to get to trust you enough to say, will you marry me? And they say, I do, right? It takes time. So you have to meet them where they're at. Where are these people? What are they hanging out in? Are they hanging out in groups? Are they going to webinars? Are they going to networking meetings? What do they want? What information is going to help them propel their business? How can you help them be more successful? What is their problem? What problem can you solve for them? What is the pain that they're trying to solve? Or what kind of pleasure do they want? Pain. I'm not selling enough of my stuff. Pleasure. I want to take a vacation. You probably offer something that's either going to solve pain or pleasure, and that's what people buy. That's what people respond to. And then you have to convince them that you are the right source to solve their problem. When you do that, you start to bridge that trust. You start to string the beads together where somebody's willing to put that on their wrist and wear it and buy from you. Secret number 3. Success comes from moving people away from social networking platforms. This is counterintuitive in a lot of ways because people don't like to be taken away from social media. If they go to LinkedIn, they want to stay in LinkedIn. If they go to Facebook, they want to stay in Facebook. If they go to Twitter, they want to stay in Twitter. But people in Twitter understand it a little differently, as they know there's links and they're going to click on it and go somewhere else. Where people in Facebook actually get upset if you make them click and go away, because they're in Facebook for a reason. LinkedIn, again, is a little bit leaner on that most people understand you're posting articles from third parties and that you're going to, or you're putting up podcasts or whatever it is. And when they click on it, they're going to open up another tab because, if you want to read an article in Forbes, you can't copy and paste the article from Forbes. So if you have a great one, they understand that. But still, the magic happens when you move them away from the social media platform. But sometimes they get upset because they want to stay in LinkedIn or they want to stay in Facebook. But let's talk about a major success story. The Ice Bucket Challenge. This was not a marketing campaign. This was started by a guy in Boston who had a friend who was suffering from ALS. And he went on and took a video and said, I challenge all of my friends to donate $10 to ALS. Otherwise, if you don't donate the $10, you have to take a bucket of ice water and pour it over your head. Well, what it did is it literally blew up the internet. And most people were not only doing the ice bucket challenge because they could take a video of them pouring ice over their head, but they donated $10, $20, $10,000 in some case, even more. And celebrities got into it and it exploded. They went from earning $1.8 million in donations in 2013 to over $111,000. That's 62 times the amount of money they made in 2013, all from social media. That's what creating viral content can do. And it does work, and I've seen it happen. Now, other nonprofits tried to emulate it by starting their own ice bucket challenge, but guess what? They all failed miserably because people didn't buy into it. This was started by an individual, and it just spread. When the nonprofits tried to do their own thing, they fell flat on their feet because it's all based about the relationships with people, not the gimmick. Get it? That's the point. It's about the relationships. So the common mistakes that people make with social media and LinkedIn and stuff like that is not getting people's contact information. Now, the cool thing about LinkedIn is you do have it, but what do you do with it? You just leave it sitting in LinkedIn. There's ways that you can actually take your LinkedIn information from people and utilize it. I just wrote an article on retargeting pixels. You can actually export your entire LinkedIn database of people that are contacts with you and import it into something like Facebook and use retargeting pixels to contact them inside of there. It's not communicating consistently. People think, okay, I'm just going to post an article and see what happens. It didn't work. And then they go back, 2-3 weeks later and they try it again. It didn't work. The thing is if you do it consistently, I have a plan. Every Monday, I have a monologue podcast. Every Tuesday, I have a blog that goes out, hence being posted today. Every Wednesday, I have a guest interview. Every Thursday, I do a broadcast email, and they are set out at specific times so that people get used to knowing that the podcast is coming out here, the blog is coming out here. They're getting emails showing them all of those different things, and they know what to expect. Consistency counts. It's really important. And then the last mistake that people make is trying to deliver just sales messages without building the trust. I think that horse is dead, but I still hear a little bit of a neigh. But it's really, you can't do that. You've got to build the trust. Once you build the trust, then you have the opportunity to maybe send out a sales message. I've heard many ratios, 10 to 1, 20 to 1, 60 to 1. It's not a 1 to 1. You can't post a good article and sell. It takes time to do that. So you can sell, but you have to do it in small chunks and infrequently. So here's truth number 3. Social media is a medium. It's a delivery mechanism, all right? And a medium is print, radio, TV, newspapers. What are newspapers? I don't know. I haven't seen one in a while. Actually, we still have one delivered, but it gets recycled because we read it online. The only way they would give us the online newspaper is if we got one delivered. It's crazy, but that's what we do. We pay, they deliver it, we recycle. At least we recycle it. But that media is a medium, all right? Social networking is the relationship. That's where you're building the relationship with people. So you're using social media to do social networking. Social networking is online networking, just like you do face-to-face, shaking hands, getting to know people, sitting down and having one-on-ones, and building a relationship of trust. So the ultimate goal with all of this stuff is creating trust to transaction, all right? We want to get that trust and then get people to do something with it. So you need to focus on customer needs. You need to keep them informed. You need to keep them entertained. You need to have good, engaging information, not constant sales pitchy pitch stuff. When I instruct people on how to write blogs, I constantly have to pull them back and say, look, the amount of sale that you have is a line. Just if you need something, contact us. You're not sitting there selling your services. You're giving them good information about what you do. And if you have a question, contact us. That's it. That's all you need to do. And guess what? Those contact us people who actually click on it and go to you are very well engaged. So produce great articles, blogs, podcasts, whatever it is to keep people entertained, informed, all of that stuff. But ultimately, you need to drive them back to a property, which is your website. Now, let me show you an example of this. So here's a guy, John, who is one of my clients, is actually a coaching client. I've worked with him for well over a year. But what we've done is we've created a blogging strategy where he's created his own material, and once a week he posts a blog. Now, the thing is his stuff is so well received because of the way that he's doing it that LinkedIn actually features it in a category called logistics and supply chain. The reason that my blog post today was so well received, and in the course of 2 hours, 400 people saw it, was because it was featured in social media. Now, the other thing that I've taught him to do is include a call to action. So the call to action is need barcode help? Click here. They click on there. What they end up doing is they end up getting back to his contact form. And so, you're filling them with information, great stuff. And all he's saying is you need help? Click here. It's contact us. That's it. So people fill out his contact form. Well, take a look at this. All right. This is in July, the 13th, the 10th, the 9th, the 9th, the 1st, the 30th, the 26th. Okay. Over the course of about 2 weeks, he's gotten 7 people contacting him with actual jobs. These are not, hey, dude, we rate for my, no, these are actual people that are looking for help with jobs. How would you like to get 2 to 3 new leads a week by posting great information inside of social media, right? And it's working because he's getting results. So here's John's measurement. Okay, this is what I talked about before, measurement. How is this working? Okay, between 2013 and 2014, the number of users on his website, and this is reading his articles because we're drawing people back, either clicking that button or posting in other ways where we're drawing them back to his website, have gone from 682 to almost 2,200. And as of today, it ranges between 2,600 to 3,000 people a month are getting to his website. Those numbers are huge. The average small business website gets about 300 visitors a month. He is 10 times the average because he's using the strategies that I've taught you today. All right. And I love this. John says, okay, I got an update from Twitter. Somebody was following me and a client I sold equipment to the week before, and the light bulb started going on in my opinionated head. I honestly say I get it. He's understanding how using the strategy of LinkedIn is feeding not only his business, but other social media avenues where people are contacting him. So let me ask you a question. What would it be like if? What would your business be like if you could create more engagement? You get people starting to share your stuff. I mean, that's the key, is that when people are sharing, that's the power. the ice bucket challenge, okay? It wasn't that the one guy did it. It was just everybody was copying it and putting it up on Facebook and sharing it and tagging people and saying, tag you're it. Now you got to do this. So by people sharing your stuff helps you to get found better. It also, the stuff that you post on LinkedIn absolutely gets you found better on Google. Google indexes LinkedIn content, and your stuff will show up as LinkedIn posts if you do it right. So what it's going to do, it's going to get more people on your email list. It's going to help you generate more income like John did, because you're starting to grow your sphere of influence with a whole bunch of people that don't know you yet. But if you do it right, they'll get to know, like, and trust you. And trust is where the transaction happens. So how did I do this for myself? I built a system that I use for myself. And then I've taught other people how to do it. And it's got proven conversions and proven results. And John is just one example of many other people that I've had this success with. Now, I'm not here to sell you guys anything, all right? What I'm offering you is something free. I'm giving you a free phone consultation, all right? All you have to do is go to www.brianloves.info/LinkedIn. Put in that link. It's going to bring up something called Time Trade, and you can fill in a request to have a half-hour conversation. And I'll help you learn to avoid some of the common mistakes we talked about. Start to explore creating a strategy, how to align your sales staff. That's one of the biggest things. If you have a sales staff, you may have 5, 10, 20 rogue people out there all doing different things. If you create an alignment between them, it basically amplifies your message. And if you create great material for them to share and they start to have similar profiles and similar information, it's going to expand your reach like we've shown. I'll also show you how to find great content. If you don't have the time or the marketing person or can't afford to hire somebody to create content for you, I'll show you where to find it and how to do it every single day. Ultimately, the goal is to build engagement, to get people to know you, to get them to know your brand, to get them to know your business, your salespeople, whatever it is, so that it helps you increase sales. So all I'm doing with you guys is sharing with you what I've learned. I was overwhelmed, but once I finally figured out the system, the way that this meticulously works, and got it down so that I'm doing it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, nothing says you have to do it every single day. That's my system. That's what works for me. Yours may be once a week. But the bottom line is, once you get that system, it starts to create results. And measurable results is really the key thing that I'm talking about. And measurable results turn into profits. Period. Right? You guys know that. I mean, you know when you can measure, whatever gets measured gets done, right? So measurable results equal profits. Here's a couple of examples of what people are saying about the things that I've been doing for them. And I'm going to skip to the middle on Sean's. He says, his knowledge in maximizing the usefulness of LinkedIn for the purpose of generating leads and prospects within professional B2B contexts is excellent. And that's what I do. That's how I know this works. The next one is from a person who runs mastermind groups for Vistage, which is huge. And this is, Dick says, Brian is the most knowledgeable and engaging and best social media speaker I've ever had the privilege of scheduling. And that's because I helped his CEOs, these are CEO level people, see the benefits and get results. When I gave a presentation to a CEO group, I got mostly 5 stars and a handful of 4 stars on this because it connected with them. They finally, the light bulbs went off just like John, and they said, now I understand it. Now I understand why this is important. It's the why. It's not the how. It's always the why. The how comes later. So, the key thing is think of this as an investment in yourself. I'm willing to invest a half hour in you because everybody's missing success steps. I mean, there's always one or two, and I'm willing to put down those planks to help you get across the bridge to the measurable results. I'm investing in you, so that's my gift. If you guys want to take advantage of it, come and learn, and that's it. And I'll give you guys some information that will help you better understand how to utilize LinkedIn and other social media to grow your business. So, did you guys find this helpful? Awesome. All right. So, I'm going to open it up for some questions. And do we have any questions, guys? If you do, type them in the window. I don't see anything at the moment. I just got a great stuff and nice job. Thank you very much. Um, so I don't see any questions. So if you do have questions, feel free to email me. Click on that link. It's brianloves.info/LinkedIn, and get your half-hour free phone call, and no obligation, no pressure, no nothing. I just want to work with you to kind of help you better understand and get your arms around this. You can contact me. Just search Brian Basilico in LinkedIn. All my stuff's there, my phone number, my email address. You can ask me questions later. I really appreciate your attention. I hope you found this useful, and I hope you got some great information out of it. And if I can be of assistance to you, please let me know. Other than that, guys, have a great day, and I wish you much success. Thanks so much for coming.